Nichols, and you've tuned into What's Between Us, the show where we talk about relationships and how men and women just frankly don't always get along that well and sometimes don't communicate that well. I think there's a reason why we have such a high divorce rate, and we try to take a humorous, non-authoritative look at how people relate to each other in a relationship. This is a G-rated show, as I've said every time. I am the proud mother of 3 young boys, and there's always the slightest, ever so slight, mind you, possibility that one of my young sons might be watching and might be other people's children might be watching. So any of your comments, because you are the guests on the show, you are the star of this show. It is a talk show, call-in show, and we'd love for you to call in. But any of your comments need to be positioned in an adult fashion. You can say what all adults understand in an adult fashion where children don't understand. It's really kind of fun. Gets an opportunity to break out some of your larger vocabulary words, if you know what I mean. First move. I've discussed this before because it is a frustration for me not coming from the great Northwest, where women are very, very independent, apparently, or men feel like they are. So they tend to leave the asking out. This has been my limited experience. Of the women to the women. The guys will give the women their phone number, and they'll expect the woman to call. And I'm old-fashioned. I don't do that, so that's why I'm a very lonely woman. Now let's find out if other women or other men see how they feel about who should ask who out. Should it be the guy asking the girl out for the first time, or the girl asking the guy out?
Are aggressive enough about asking women out initially on dates?
No. Absolutely not. I think they need to be more aggressive. I think they let the women, they want the women to do it, and the women don't do it. So it's kind of a dead-end issue.
So they don't end up.
No, they're too cocky. They think that they should all come to them, but it doesn't happen. 2 o'clock in the morning, the bar closes, and they all go their own way.
Do you take into asking men out in order?
Yes, I have actually.
Okay. Do you like asking men out?
Not particularly, but if you gotta do, you gotta do.
Do you, when you were dating, did you prefer to ask the woman out, or would you have preferred to have her ask you out?
Either one. Depended. I wasn't.
Interesting answer.
Yeah, I wasn't big on chasing, but the opportunity presented itself, I would.
Probably, percentage-wise?
The latter.
You asked them out?
Yeah. I grew up on the coast.
I always want somebody to call me first. That way I know if there's any interest at all. Because obviously I'm interested if I'm giving you my number. But there's only one way I know if you are, is that's to call me back. I always like to give the girl the number. That way I know if she's interested or not, she'll call me. Then there's no thought process, and then if I call her and she's bugged by me, always give her your number, and if she's interested, she'll call.
I would prefer to make the advances myself, but I like her to be receptive.
The discussion about asking. I mean, I could just spend the whole hour talking about this issue. Men, really, we would love to be asked out. Seriously, we would. It would be good. It would show initiative, and I don't think I know of a woman that would ever be offended by a man asking her out. So the lame, in my opinion, excuse that he doesn't want to offend the woman by asking her out, it just shows your chicken liver. It does. It shows your chicken liver. So we don't want to be chicken livers. We want to actually, ask the woman out. If you are attracted to her, ask her out. I did, one time I had this, in San Francisco, when I was single before I got married, I never would ask a guy out, but I always got their phone numbers when I'd be chatting up somebody at a bar or a party or social fair, and I'd get their phone number and I'd tell them, honestly, I'd say, you know what, if we ever have a party, I'll give you a call and invite you. And they're like, oh, okay, they're thinking, she just wants to get my number. Well, they're not. That's not what I was doing it. I was getting their phone numbers because I was genuinely going to wait until I had a party, so I had a big list of people to invite to a party. And so they would go home surely thinking I was going to call them, and the days, weeks would go by and I wouldn't call them. A whole year went by, frankly. And I decided to finally have that big old party. So I have what I now refer to fondly as the Black Book Party. I went through that entire book That entire book were all the people that all the great guys that I got in their phone number who never called me. I gave them my phone number and said, if you want to call me, it's also a way for me to give them my phone number. The initiative was not taken. So I would call them up. So I called each and every one of them up, and I invited them to the party. And it was great. I had all the food out, and I was working in the kitchen, and all my girlfriends came, and they were out there for a little bit, and then they came in, and they're just furious. I said, what is wrong? They said, every guy in that room thinks they're on a date with you. Ouch. So, but I did, we one of the guys out of there that actually stuck around, but I think they were a little offended when I invited like 10 or 12, I don't remember. But it was a fun party for a little while. Anyway, I just share with you that story to enlighten you on something that, I don't know, with women's lib thing has just gotten way out of control. Let's find out, how do you bring the joy back when it gets a little tired or old?
Enthusiasm and the joy. Yeah, you know, that's enjoyable. I mean, it does get boring sometimes with the same old questions and predictable. I definitely try not to cut her off or jump ahead, because that's like a big no-no.
But is it hard not to do that because you feel like you know what she's going to say?
It is at first a little harder not to do it, but once you get used to it, actually just take some practice and discipline. It's like, okay, you know, I'm just going to listen and do this and relax, and it's
Do you find you both listen to each other just as much as you used to, or more so, or less?
better. I think we listen to each other better now. In the beginning, it wasn't as... we'd listen to each other more like, okay, out of courtesy, or you just kind of do those things. And we've learned how to listen better, which I think is really a key. You just learn how to listen and communicate better. And that's a challenge.
How about compliments? Are those flying around high?
I'm a huge complimenter. Oh, I'm a romantic
Does she give you very many compliments?
Yeah, actually a lot, all the time. Usually like when we least expect it, or when we're doing something else, or she'll come upstairs and say, oh, I like it when you did this, or I'm so in love with you, or whatever it is, and vice versa. And I pinch her ass too, because it's fun.
How long have you been married?
October, it'll be 3 years.
Find your sense of humor. Try to find a way to make the criticisms into something that's a game, and don't be afraid to say you're sorry when you've done something wrong, or say you're sorry about how you're doing something or how you're approaching something.
I think you have to really try, because I don't think you can always catch joy and happiness. I think you have to work for it. I think there's the peaks and valleys, and it's not necessarily joy or happiness for a long time. It takes a lot of work, and it's going to come back around.
Sarcasm. Just engage them in like laughter. Just be funny.
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Oh, you're sounding really good. Go right ahead, Bonnie. We'd love to hear from you.
Well, my voice of experience is I think it's a blast to be married. And after almost 30 years of marriage, I lost my husband. But now I'm back in the world of dating, which is really weird when you're 50 plus years and to have a boyfriend. It's, I don't know, I guess it's supposed to be a man friend.
Yeah, they should change the name of it, don't you think?
But I think after you were talking about people 10 years married, 11 years married.
Right.
Go back to being just a boyfriend and girlfriend. Pretend like that, forget all the buttons to push and all how to kill each other's enthusiasm on something. Pretend like you're boyfriend and girlfriend, because you try to be the better person then. You try to be the special one. You try to be pretty. You know what I mean? When you're boyfriend and girlfriend.
Who should make the first move? I'm voting for the man makes the first move. What's your vote on that one? We didn't really get you.
Well, honestly, I think it's
it.
a toss-up question, because I really think that if there's interest either direction, that the person that has interest should initiate. I know as a man it's very difficult sometimes to approach a woman just because she doesn't have a ring on doesn't mean she's available, and same way the other way around. But I think it's really difficult sometimes that women are expecting the men to initiate the asking out, which is fine if that's what you want to do, but you need to let us know you're interested in us asking you out. You need to put.
So you think it breaks down in the flirting aspect of it?
It's like Halloween, okay? You can walk by a house and someone might be home and have candy, but unless the light's on, you're not going to go up and knock on the door.
Thank you for watching What's Between Us. I'm Lisa Michaels here with
Dennis
our
Gleason,
director.
the
You
director.
can see him coming out from the control room, the director on What's Between Us. So join in with us and give us a call next time. We appreciate it. Thank you. Now you.